we believe in giving our users control, and this doesn't sound like full control for me.
It sounds quite like parental control or something like this. Welcome on Cards Against Complexity, Bianca. Bianca is joining us from bunq, all the way here from, I think, the Netherlands. And we'd love to learn about your journey, your personal journey at bunq, but also about bunq itself, your challenges you faced in there. You saw many roles on that way. Before we jump into all of this, would love to get a quick intro about you and bunq. Then we'll play Cards Against Complexity, and then we take it from there.
Very exciting. Well, thank you so much for having me. It's great to be in Berlin. And I love playing Cards Against Humanity, so I'm very excited about this.
Yeah, so Cards Against Humanity, I mean, we'll try to be a bit more appropriate here, but for everyone else who joins with a beer a bit later today, maybe we can take it another day.
Yeah, we will do that outside of the booth. Okay, cool. So I'm Bianca Zwart. I'm Chief Strategy Officer at bunq, second largest neobank in Europe. What bunq does, we basically make life easy for our users. Who are our users? People who live an international lifestyle, people who don't necessarily live in one country or work abroad. And we make life easy in many different ways. Whether that's spending, saving, investing on the go, we make sure we move with them. We don't hold them back. So we're building the first global neobank that actually makes life easy. And I joined actually just after we launched. So I've seen, I'm an early bunker. I've seen it from the get-go until now. I've also grown a lot. Like bunq grown, I have grown too. I started back in the days of support, answering user tickets. And now in my current role as Chief Strategy Officer, I focus on a couple of things. I'm responsible for the long-term strategy of the company, and I make sure that we keep the promises that we make to our users.
And that's, I mean, obviously an exciting journey, which I'm really, really love to jump in a second. You've seen the very early days. You've seen some founding in between as well. And you've seen now strategy in bunq's growth phase. Before we go there, this podcast is called Cards Against Complexity. And we play Cards Against Complexity similar to Cards Against Humanity. We've got a screen here that I'll show you in a second. And tell me if you can see this. This should be your deck.
I can see the screen. I have a deck. Can you see mine?
I can see your deck here,
Great.
But I can't look below the cards. And I think this will be the part that's going to be interesting for everyone who's not joined this podcast before, listened in. Cards Against Complexity, just like Cards Against Humanity. We've got a sentence to complete. And we've got 3 options on the side.
Cool.
You've got 3 options on the side. You'll have to choose one. We'll see which one we have today. So bunq's new AI detects impulse spending patterns. And as you said, you want to help your users in their journey. So the AI reacts by locking your credit card until you complete a 10-minute budgeting course, blocking fast fashion sites for a week,
that would be good.
Or enabling a quiet mode so that you don't feel judged by bank notifications while you do this.
Oh, and I have to choose.
You definitely have to choose.
So I have to lie.
Well, you have to choose.
Okay. First, before I do, one small thing. I think it's a nice story for people, but not everyone can see the screen. But it says bunq with a capital letter, and it's actually spelled with a small b, and I'd like to explain why, because it's a good story. So we really wanted to be the first user-centric bank, and the logo represents that, because it's you can turn it around. If you see bunq like this, you turn it around like that, you see the same thing, which means that our users and us, we look at the same thing, we're on the same page. So just a small detail for anyone watching or listening. Now, back to the choice, right? So, yeah, it's a difficult choice because I will explain why the options are difficult. So the first one, locking your credit card until you complete a 10-minute budgeting course. We believe in giving our users control, and this doesn't sound like full control to me. If anything,
like parental control or something
the
like
opposite.
This,
Blocking fast fashion sites for a week, that would be a good one. But we don't do that. Enabling a quiet mode so that you don't feel judged by your bank notifications. I mean, you can turn off your notifications. So that one would be the closest to what I would choose, because it means you're in control, but we'd still think along. So for anyone listening, I think it's nice to know that we don't necessarily do this, but we do a lot with AI. So we've built our own Gen AI platform, Fin, which we use in the app, but also for our operations. And Fin can tell you all kinds of interesting things. So for example, you can ask Fin, what do I spend most money on? In my case, that's usually food. What's the last time I traveled? You can ask it complex questions and it will give you answers, so you can get the insights that you perhaps are looking for. So I guess, yeah, I would. I'm an introvert, so I would do enabling a quiet mode. Love quiet.
And you love quiet because there's richness in quiet as well. There's much to explore there.
Right.
But in the end, we don't want to judge our users. And if you're in impulse spending, maybe just go ahead and spend.
We just tell you, hey, psst. You might be in impulse spending, but up to you.
At least do it quietly for yourself, so you'll just enjoy it just a bit more. Cool. Thanks for sharing that, and also thanks, by the way, for sharing the origin story of the bunq logo and somehow the details that matter. Mm-hmm. And this, like in building a bank and in building a product, it's one of the things that, like, getting obsessed about those details is very interesting. Now, you've seen very interesting episodes where you were able to do this. You were in customer service, building the initial operations of bunq. Yeah. Then you went out of bunq, I think, and started a business yourself. Yeah. Then you came back and you're in strategy, which also, everybody looks at strategy as high level, is a lot about details. Yeah. Tell me about this journey maybe first. What was exciting about all those 3 stages in this journey?
Yeah, on a personal level, what was exciting is bunq is a great company for people who just want to get things done, right? We have a culture that is focused on what your skills are, the way you solve problems, not your background in any way, shape or form, right? Also, not if you have 30 years experience in the banking industry. If anything, it might be a con if you're applying. It's really, how do you solve problems, and what problems can you then solve for us, rather than really looking at your CV and all kinds of things. So I started in support. It was really exciting. We were just a team of 4. We built the entire support foundation of what it still is today. I mean, the game has changed. The rules have changed in the sense that AI came along, but those are, at the end of the day, just tools, right? The foundation of what we try to do is still the same. People want fast support. They want to feel heard. They want to feel understood. And the way in which you do that can change, but as long as that stays the same. And in terms of my personal growth, as an example of how much we looked at what you did and not where you came from. So I became head of PR within bunq after a couple of years with 0 experience in PR. I remember a day we had a bunq update, which is a great event that we do 2 or 3 times a year, where we launch all kinds of new features to the public. And Ali, our founder and CEO, came up to me and said, "I need a press release for tonight." I said, "Well, sounds like a you problem."
Yeah. and I mean, it's at least 12 hours to do this, I guess.
Yeah. No, it was more
Maybe
like 6.
Rather.
Anyway, I wrote a press release, which obviously wasn't good because I didn't know how to do it. We went back and forth a couple of times until we had a press release, to which he said, "I guess you're PR now." So really exciting. I learned a lot. And then I left for a couple of years indeed. I never truly left, but I contractually left to start my own business. I worked with a lot of PR agencies at the time. They frustrated me quite a bit, if I'm honest. They're very good at doing PR for big corporates, not as good at doing PR for startups and really understanding that culture. So I did that for a couple of years, scaled it, sold it, was amazing. And then I returned home to bunq a couple of years back.
Yeah. And now you're back in a very different role. So in a time that is also challenging. I mean, both exciting and challenging for someone like a bank, like bunq. What's right now, if you look at this journey of bunq and at your strategy, what's right now the strongest competitive pressure you feel, and what do you see as like the biggest opportunity for bunq and all of this?
The biggest challenge I think I see is global complexity. Like I said, we build a product for people who live a global lifestyle. I do it, you probably do too. I spend my time between Amsterdam and Rome, and I travel a lot for work in between. And people like that, they want their bank to be international too. They want their bank to be global too. So that's what we're really trying to build with bunq. We want to be a global bank, but it's easier said than done. A lot of regulatory complexity, We're now trying to expand to the US. Every market needs a new license, new regulations, new payment systems. It's very fragmented, and being able to go fast when nothing is the same, that's one of the challenges, to make that as seamless as possible for your users. And an opportunity, right? You also asked me.
Yeah, I guess opportunity is in the challenge if you build this, but
true. We love a challenge, so we're definitely going to do it, and it's going to be rewarding, especially because it's hard. But if I look at an opportunity, I think one of the good things, or one of the things we've been good at historically, is we've always run our own race. So we've always been focused on what we wanted to do. For example, during the years that we were founded, we were completely self-funded for nearly 10 years because, money seemed up for grabs during those times, right? We're like, no, we have different plans. We're going to focus on what we think is right. And I think that really became one of our strengths. And now we do the same when it comes to product. We have this commandment within bunq. It's called solve real problems. Our users are not dashboards. They're not trends. They're real people with real wants and needs. Understand them, then build a product. Whoever builds a product or hands in a business case within bunq, there's in any proposal, the first question is, what's in it for the user? If you cannot answer that, we're not doing it. And it might sound a bit high level. I can make it tangible if you want.
You go all out.
Go out. Okay. As a clear example, investing. Most of us do it, at least in Europe. It's now gaining some traction. There's a lot of investment products out there, right? And we weren't planning on launching any investment product, but our users kept telling us, we want to start investing, but we don't know how to. I download an app. There's all kinds of things I can do, but I don't understand what it is I should do. It kind of assumes I have this basic level of knowledge that I do not have. So we really dove into that. Instead of thinking we're going to launch an investment product and it's going to have all these features, we're like, no, what is it really like if you're someone who just starts investing? If you just start investing, there's a couple of things you want to know or not know. What's that experience? As a concrete example, people always tell you need to buy S&P 500, right? And then when you do, you open an app and you're like, I see 12 of them. What do I do? So as a detail, we decided this is one that performs well, low cost. We give you one option. So you really can get started. And it was really about removing all that complexity for our users and keeping it simple.
Very, very exciting. And there's so much complexity in financial services.
Tell me about it.
That's why we've got the podcast. The cards can't solve it all. The real work is in the nitty gritty, in everything that you do all day. You did all day in services in the early days. You do all day right now in the strategy team and changing the way your team is working to then address users' problems.
Maybe a good thing to add, is that okay? I made full circle, so the operations team now reports into me.
Oh, there you go.
A couple months.
And who has seen an operations team report into strategy? I love that.
I know, because it makes a lot of sense, I think, because our users are our strategy.
Yeah.
Therefore, they should.
And there's a lot of beauty from learning strategy from the front line. So this has been already a super exciting conversation. I want to round it off with a conversation that's coming up for you. So I think April 17th, there's a TED Talk. Are you ready?
Oh, no, I'm not.
This is typically when somebody publishes a book, you get on the show and you talk about your book.
I didn't see this question coming. Yes.
Yeah, but we saw that and we thought, and you said it's going to be deeply personal. Now I don't want to jinx anything from that talk, but maybe you can give us a bit of a highlight what's coming there.
Yeah, I can keep it. I don't want to spoil it completely. They might get angry at me. I'm not sure. So yeah, I'm giving a TED Talk. I'm not sure what this life is. I'm very excited about it, but also confused. So it's going to be deeply personal. The title of it is Nobody's Coming to Save You, and why that's a good thing. And with TED, I feel like there's all these great ideas that I love watching, don't get me wrong, but they're always life-changing epiphanies.
Yeah.
And I try to keep it personal with very concrete, small things you should be able to apply.
Very excited for this one, and fingers crossed that's in a few days. By the time this recording is online, it's probably done, and we'll add the link in here. Really nice, and thanks for sharing your journey, but also then thanks for sharing in a few days your personal journey in there. And thanks for being here today at FIBE. Bianca from bunq.
Thank you so much for having me. Loved having you here as well as a conversation.
Yes, cool. And we could continue this conversation for quite some time, I feel. And everybody else would be listening in. Now that we had the technical glitch behind us, we're all live. Also for the next episode. Yeah, enjoy FIBE. Thank you for being here, and everyone else. There's a next podcast coming up. There should be a schedule somewhere for you to join us a bit later.